Welcome to SF Recycling and Disposal Artist in Residence program. My name is Deborah Monk and I'm the manager of the program. Our program started in 1990 by a woman named Jo Hansen, who was invited to come out here to see the facility, and she couldn't believe what San Franciscans threw away. So she came up with the idea of an artist in residence program, and we've had 75 artists come through the program since its inception. Our residencies are 4 months long, so the artists spend 4 months in this studio collecting garbage from the public disposal area where San Franciscans throw garbage away, and then they come back to the studio and work. So it is a studio space and then it converts into a gallery. Our next show is with Christine Lee and David King on January 23rd and 24th, 2009. They've been working together for the last 4 months making art out of what San Franciscans throw away.
Wake up in the morning, I smell bad. Wake up in the evening, I smell bad. I smell bad, I smell bad, I smell. Wake up in the morning, I smell bad. Wake up in the evening, I smell bad. I smell bad, I smell bad, I smell.
My name is Christine Lee, and I am one of the 2 resident artists here at the dump. I have a background of furniture design and woodworking, so I do have a skill set of techniques and so forth based on hand and power tools, the usage of that, and applying that towards wood. What I really got from that training, though, is a sense of understanding a material and trying to figure out how to refine it to a certain degree. So what I've been doing is going to the PDRA, which is the Public Disposal and Recycling Area. That is where all the resident artists have access to the materials. And there's actually a short window of time to get it. So the bulldozers will be pushing them away, and really, it's about timing. So if you're there and the materials you want happen to be there, you can get it. But if you're not there, it's almost like it never existed. For the modular bench seating that I'm working on, they consist of reclaimed 2x4s and concrete. So the 2x4s have a bunch of nails and screws in them, and we've been removing them. And then the concrete comes actually from construction sites. It's already been mixed there, and it's basically the leftovers. What I did is I actually took observations and sketched out stuff that I felt would be influential into the actual design. And I decided to use the 2x4s because they're very similar dimensions to the lines of the roll-top doors. And then each bench actually overstacks another set of the benches, so they interlace as well. I liked that idea of returning back to kind of the training that I had experienced in grad school, so working functionally again, but then incorporating that into the space here and using the materials that came from the dump. The second component of the projects I'm working on consists of the vertical and horizontal blinds, as well as other kind of plasticky members that are very long and weavable or interlaceable, I guess you could say. And some of the examples of that are these kind of enlarged finger traps that I have, and those are vertical blinds that I've interlaced on the bias. When you're working on functional objects, you know, there is a certain amount of control that goes into that in the design process. But I've found along the way that I've had to make changes to the design to accommodate the material that's available and the machines that I have to use here. So it's kept me on my toes. It has been challenging to keep the design as close to the original as possible, but then to make it actually work. It's almost like a feeling of like, okay, well, how can I start designing or thinking of objects that can utilize what is here? Because this is a resource in itself. I mean, I could spend the rest of my life and just be focusing on what comes here and designing from that and be totally set.
My name is David King. I'm an artist in residence here, and I've been working on 3D collage. My usual art practice is 2D collage, where I find books and magazines and things from junkyards and thrift stores and put together images. The gleaning process that I use in making collage, I would go into a thrift store and there's a whole wall of books, and I can look through very quickly and pick out the books that I think will be interesting to me. Usually it's larger books, older books. You sort of have develop a sixth sense about what would work for you. And I use the same sense in the dump. An amazing amount of trash comes in, piles of it every hour, and you just have to pick through it very quickly and just respond from sort of an intuitive place. The first few weeks was just about collecting materials, things that I found interesting, things that I thought I might be able to use, and ideas started to pop up, and I was really drawn to spheres and orbs and how I could make things that look like atoms or bacteria, viruses, or allergens, and also make them look like they might be satellites or some kind of celestial body. I actually thought I'd be doing wall pieces when I first came in here, sort of low relief sculpture, and all these balls just started coming at me via the waste stream. This big red ball just literally came rolling out of the pile. There was a bulldozer behind the pile that pushed the pile, and this ball came rolling towards me. So I was sort of called by them and attracted by them, and I've just found so many things that I could put on them and ways to express my idea. I really like to find lots of one thing that I can use as building blocks for a larger piece. Like, I found like 1,000 suction cups and a bucket of bolts and bags of stuffed animals. The stuffed animals came in, they were all in one huge garbage bag, and back here in the studio they just kind of formed themselves into this ball. I felt like they were sort of like a comet. It'll be interesting to see what happens after the residency ends and see if I continue to do 3D. We have lifetime picking rights as former artists in residence, so I can always come back and pull more stuff. Because I was always 2D and now I've flipped over into 3D for this residency, it's been a challenge to be creative in a new way, and I've really enjoyed that, and I'm sure I'll continue to explore that on some level afterwards.
My name is Danny Plotnick. I'm the film video teacher at San Francisco University High School, a great independent school located in Pacific Heights. Each year, our visual arts teachers curate programs where we bring in professional artists to show their work and teach in the classroom. This month, I've curated a program of art and animation by a great Portland-based artist named Lori Damiano.
Hello, my name is Lori D, and this is my show Mountain Time. It's mostly gouache paintings, and some of it is my illustration work, and other things are just personal paintings. And I also make animation. That's been my main focus for the last 6 years, so I've been just painting for fun. I usually start with some kind of an idea, whether it just be a color idea or a narrative idea, and the whole pleasure for me in making things is just to wait and see how it evolves. So I feel like I'm looking at these paintings the same way that other people are, and I don't have any advantage as far as interpretation necessarily, because it was a surprise to me too. I paint the same kind of people over and over, these archetypes of my experience growing up in suburbia, I guess, in California and the West Coast mainly, in 80s and 90s. So I think of it as sort of my own personal folklore. So here are these icons of my experience, and these are the heroes in my culture, and so they're often very ordinary or mundane figures, like you see them everywhere, but for me they're my heroes, so I like to honor them by featuring them in these little vignettes where I'm highlighting them in the way that people might have done in like a manuscript or some other way where they're capturing like a legend of their people. So these are my people. I'm interested in self-importance, so we take ourselves very seriously, and I think that's amusing and wonderful and dangerous. And so I often paint narratives that feature someone in on some kind of a journey or personal mission, but the actions are often very ordinary, like washing a car, but they're taking it very seriously because this is their car and this is a very important task. Whereas in an old manuscript you might see a battle occurring or something, or some kind of a religious ceremony, but these are our ceremonies. I have my paintings somewhat grouped, and there's one group that is a group of Gleaners. I was living in the San Joaquin Valley on my family's pistachio farm, and I was harvesting my vegetable garden every day. So I would lay out everything that I harvested on the grass, and that was my bounty and my riches. And it made me think of my friend's photographs. My friend Andrew Jeffrey Wright, he takes photos every time he gets paid with his money, and he lays it out. So I kind of was playing off of his photos with his money, because those are my treasures, my vegetables. These are illustrations. I have a column in the skateboard mag. It's called The Learnings Of, and I ask a different pro or am skateboarder every month to write up something, some kind of secret knowledge that they have that maybe the kids wouldn't know about them, any kind of advice, or some people put recipes in or whatever. So anyway, these are illustrations for different learnings of columns that different pro skateboarders wrote. This picture of this man with the wolf standing on top of him it was a poster for Will Oldham's latest album, Lie Down in the Light, and this is my interpretation of the United States of America's self-image, this picnic. This one is called Little Fires, and it's got a bunch of people hunched over campfires, and I made that for this company in Canada called Lifetime Collective, and it's just about our personal values and how we have these little bonfires within us that we'll fight for, and everybody's got a different little bonfire. The reason that I've started painting and that I love to paint is because it allows me to have something to give and to connect with other people. And it's been amazing, like painting has allowed me to connect with so many people that I've been inspired by and wanted to meet, and it's allowed me to travel all over the place. So for me, it's more about just meeting other people who like to make things and getting out there and visiting everybody.